In 2025, the Dr. Hilary Diana Clayton Foundation was set up as a private ancillary fund to honour the legacy of my mother, who was a general practitioner with particular interests in disabilities such as mental health disorders, hearing disorders, neurofibromatosis, and other genetic disorders. The founder is my father, Dr. Robert McWilliam. I'm a director, and we have an independent director, Jeff Curry, who is a CPA and runs his own accounting firm. There are several challenges, governance challenges for a private ancillary fund. The foundation is a family-controlled entity and it must comply with key fiduciary obligations. So key challenges include balancing the family's objectives with the discipline of a regulated financial charitable entity. Secondly, we need to manage the financial stewardship and investment strategy and risk to ensure that the foundation can support long-term sustainable grant gifting. Thirdly, there is a need to prepare future generations to lead the foundation into the future and to ensure good governance continues. I thought I'd start by reviewing the regulatory requirements that the foundation needs to comply with. So it is a registered charity with the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profit Commission, and therefore it must abide by the ACNC governance principles. The charitable purpose and not-for-profit operation must be at the front of our minds at all times. I think compliance with the ACNC and the Australian Tax Office is essential, and directors need to be suitable, responsible people who act in good faith and with due diligence. The Australian Tax Office has put out the Private Ancillary Fund Guidelines in 2019, and this is an operational framework to work side by side the ACNC governance standards. So basically, the Private Ancillary Fund, or the PAF, must operate on a not-for-profit basis. The corporate trustee must provide audited financial reports, and the trustee must distribute a minimum of 5% of the fund's net assets each year. And so an investment strategy must manage the risk, the liquidity, and the diversification. Because the PAF has a corporate trustee, the directors of that trustee company are subject to the Corporations Act. So there is a duty to act with reasonable care, skill, and diligence. There's a duty to act impartially and not improperly use information, so keep information confidential. There's a duty to avoid conflicts of interest and a duty to comply with financial record keeping practices. The ASX principles provide a good benchmark, best practices benchmark for charities and not-for-profits, even though they're not listed. And many of these principles I have used in reviewing our governance challenges. So I've grouped the challenges into three key areas. So the first one is all about governance. And the risks in governance are that we make informal decisions that are not documented. There's a risk of drifting towards founder or family preferences that are not aligned to our purpose. There's a risk of relying on our advisors without truly understanding why these decisions have been made. There is a real opportunity for gifts to be made without due diligence. Tweedy in 2016 really suggested looking at impact rather than just the fiduciary requirement to give 5%, but really focus on the impact of what that gift is doing for the beneficiary. So actions that we can take, we can document decisions, we can document how the decision was made and why the decision was made. We can develop a board charter with a clear purpose and a code of conduct. We can have a compliance register and a standing agenda item for conflicts. The second big challenge is in the sustainability and the financial stewardship of the fund. There could be, the risks involved include informal decision making and perhaps leading to excessive or unnecessary risks. There could be a financial liability for losses, so we need to make sure there is a strong risk statement, a risk appetite analysis completed. We want to make sure that gift giving is done based on our purpose, and we have a clear idea of the impact that gift is going to have. Actions we can take are documenting an investment strategy, documenting a risk appetite statement, auditing our financial statements, questioning our performance. We've got an independent director and accountant, but we want to make sure that we really are making an impact with our gifts. So the third challenge is capability, and just relying on advisors without really overseeing what's happening is a risk. Without a succession plan in place, there is a risk of losing knowledge and leadership. And as directors, there is a requirement, and financial penalties could apply if breaches happen. So those are the risks. The actions that we could take are to consider some governance training, documenting a succession plan, providing some induction training or some next generation training, and really explaining why we've made the decisions we have made. So just an implementation plan. The first quarter is all about setting up that strong foundation. So creating a board charter, identifying conflicts of interest, really building up a succession plan. In quarter two, we need to look at some first financial reports. Those reports need to be audited. We need to look at whether those reports are providing us what we need. A board meeting will review our progress. In quarter three, we need to create a guidelines for grant gifting and really think about the beneficiaries and the impact we can make with the grant gifting. We need to continue governance training for our board of directors and get some due diligence on our investment strategy and review our risk appetite. In quarter four, I think it's an opportunity to really reflect on our progress and review where we're up to and think about the objectives for the next year. Governance is not something that just you tick off and it's done. It's a cyclical thing. It changes and it needs to be reviewed continually. So in summary, by understanding the regulatory requirements and the best practices, we can really lay some solid foundations with a board charter, a code of conduct and some succession planning. We can uplift capability in our board. We can provide some training in governance and financial stewardship. And then reviewing our financial reports, we can set some objectives for 2027 and 2028 and become a leader in charity giving and good governance.